Well, this is the first sunny day we've had in about 2 weeks, which means one thing, and that means that all my commercial clients call me the night before and want me to photograph things on the first blue sky day we've had in a fortnight. So I started filming this morning at 8 a.m. just as the sun was rising, and I've managed to fit 3 jobs in before lunchtime. I'm going to talk about this blog post now, one more job for this afternoon, and then that's it, done for the day. So welcome to the wedding walkthrough of Morgan and Anne at Park Farm in Somerset. Park Farm is at the other end of the country from me, but it's one of those venues that I visit a few times a year. It's one of my favourite venues, so I don't mind doing that at all. I think what sets this wedding apart in terms of my approach and the brief is that Morgan and Anne heavily prioritised them being present in their wedding day rather than having a photographer that would take them away to do amazing portfolio and wow pictures. They really wanted a photographer that would just let their day unfold naturally. So let me explain a little bit about reportage wedding photography. That's when you have as little input as possible on the wedding day and you just capture what's happening. In reality, that makes up maybe 70-80% of what I would normally do, and there would be time for some couple portraits and some family pictures. But in Morgan and Anne's case, they wanted to turn that bit right down to like 5%. This is slightly scary from a wedding photographer's point of view, because the reality is the more control you have over the wedding, the easier it is to get the shots that you have in your mind or that you envisage. When you leave everything up to chance and up to your skill, it takes a lot more concentration. You have to be aware of what's going on all the time, and you only get one chance at every moment. But to let you into a little secret, that's what I thrive on. That's why I love wedding photography, that pressure of only having one chance to get the shot that you need. So Morgan and Anne's wedding had a lovely rustic feel, and you can see here that we started the day with some lovely still weather. I just want to talk a little bit about this bridesmaid opening the champagne shot, this perfectly timed capture. The picture here on the top left, perfectly timed with the exploding champagne bottle and the perfect, if not so flattering, expression on the bridesmaid's face there. A lot of people said on the wedding day, "Oh, I can't believe you managed to get that shot, it's so perfectly timed." The truth is that every single wedding I've ever photographed, when a bridesmaid or a bride goes to open the champagne bottle, I make sure that I'm ready with my finger on the button just in case. I feel that these shots work really nicely as a sequence. So we've got the moment, the comedy moment, followed by the bridesmaid's reaction, and then just swinging round to everybody else's reaction. I love the balance in this shot with both other bridesmaids with their hands on their chests in hysterics, and mother looking across diagonally there. I think that's the reason why I chose this one in black and white, because of the composition. Just to emphasise that composition, so the colours didn't distract from that. Okay, back to normality and the morning preparations. So you can see from these morning prep shots that there isn't a huge amount of room, and I'm just letting things happen and just working my way around the morning preparation rather than interfering and stopping people. So this is one of the few parts in the day where I did do some formals, but they're quite relaxed. They're not particularly formal, and we're done very, very quickly. So music and choral music and singing plays a large part in Anne and Morgan's life, and the choir of friends that they had in the church was astounding, to say the least. World class. Having a world-class choir at your wedding is quite a privilege. Even though this church is really beautiful, because of the choir and the way the church was laid out at the front, the point of view was extremely limited, and I had a handful of chances to get the shots that I needed. In fact, it was easy to wait for the couple to sit down to get some shots of them together, so it wasn't obstructed. I always love this shot of the couple coming back out into the daylight with a dark background there. When we arrived back at Park Farm from the church, you can see that things started to take a turn for the worst, weather-wise. So we still had some bright sunshine in the foreground, but as you can see in the background, things were getting a little tricky. We had about 10 minutes where we still had this harsh sunlight, but jet black storm in the background. So I was able to use that effect, almost like I've set up some lighting. So we've got this moody, kind of almost Wizard of Oz type background and the harsh light coming from the front. It's quite interesting. I realised that for two reasons. Morgan and Anne didn't want to spend a lot of time on their portrait shots, and B, it was just about to throw it down any second. So I had about 3-4 minutes with the couple. So I took them to these low hanging trees to where the sun was still breaking through, just to try and get some shots that represented where we were in the countryside and on the farm, which we managed to get. And you can see here where the black clouds starting to come in as my time runs out. Paparazzi that I normally have over my shoulder. And then time was up. So you can see here we still had the strong sunshine, but the rain really started to come down, and that was the end of being able to shoot outside and being able to shoot with the couple, really. So all the guests then moved into the barn, which was utterly amazing. I think Anne works in the wine industry, in the wine business, so the drinks and the wine were very important part of the day, and the decor was based around vineyards and wine bottles. So I spent quite a bit of time photographing those details. You can see here from the way the barn's laid out, we've got a big contrast in the types of lighting. We've got harsh spotlights, we've got natural daylight, we've got dark corners. So what I did was I tried to find the details that were lit in a favourable way. So this picture of the flowers here, this was the only table where a spotlight was hitting the flowers like this. So just walking around the room and finding the best version of that gave me a more dramatic shot than just picking a random table. And I did that over and over again for all the details. And the same concept applies to this portrait shot. So I could have taken a portrait shot of this guy at any point in the day, but just waiting until he was stood under this little roof light gave me beautiful portrait lighting. So we're into the speeches. I'm just getting some candids of the speeches there. Some of the details of the wine-themed decor. Into the party. The lighting, when the sun actually disappeared, the lighting in the barn was utterly crazy. We had up lighting, harsh lighting, spotlighting, everything you can imagine. So it was quite difficult. I had to use the flash gun for the party shots because it was really dark in the barn, and there were some great party shots. So we rounded off the night with sparklers and fireworks, and again, usually this shot would be set up with the sparklers. We might create a little arch or a tunnel for the couple to walk through, but Anne and Morgan just wanted this to happen organically, and so it was quite nice just to use the light of the sparklers and the uplighters around the venue to create atmosphere, rather than just set that shot up. Thank you for watching. Remember to check out my Instagram at mark_Tattersall, where you'll see more pictures from the work that I'm doing, and I'll see you next time.